Welcome back. The goal for this section is to complete, for the most part, all of the themes functionality. We're going to be creating a single page display for internal content. We're going to create a template for single posts and pages, and we're going to hook in our theme options panel. And we're going to create this dynamic menu here. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll begin using the theme options panel. So we're going to create a new file, PHP file, and we're going to name it functions.php, and we're going to save it in the root of the themes directory. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and close the section A and open up section B, and we're going to start with the options panel, and the initialize options function.php. I'm going to go ahead and pop that in and save. Now, right after we've added that, we can come back over and take a look inside of our admin. So right now, under appearance, if we refresh, now under appearance we have an options panel. I'll go ahead and click this. You'll see that there's nothing here. However, we've got the options panel created. So let's go ahead and create some options. First of all, we need the person to be able to upload their custom logo, and then the favicon, and also Google Analytics tracking. So let's open up the admin/theme-options.php file. Here you can scroll down and you'll see this area where I've set begin adding options here, stop adding options here. So you're going to put all of your options inside of here. So underneath B, theme options panel, theme-options.php, collapse this to receive all of the different input options available for this options panel. So once again, we want to add a logo. We need to allow the person to upload a file. So we'll use the file uploader here. I'll go ahead and drop down a bit. In fact, we need to add a heading first. So I'll pop in an options heading, and we're going to name this options heading General Options. Okay. And let's give it a name. And this is the title that's going to show. Okay, and then we'll name the ID. You're only going to change what's after the underscore. Keep the underscore. So we'll replace files to logo, and we'll save. Now when we refresh that options panel, You see that we now have the heading general options, and we have the upload your logo, which is coming from here. We have the upload image icon right here. And so now we've got to update this section of the theme. Now that's going to be inside of our header.php file. And we'll just find where the logo is. Here it is right here. Now, the first thing that we're going to do before we make that logo image dynamic is let's change this this link reference. So I come in here and come under general functionality, and here's the get home URL. So that's going to link back to the home page. Now we're going to replace this source URL with an echo from the options panel. So we'll use the we'll come under options, usage, and theme, and display option value. And we'll change this from option ID to logo so that it matches with our ID. And we'll change this alt. So let's make it echo out the site name. So that's under general functionality, display site name. And we'll go ahead and save. And another thing is that if you want to restrict the dimensions, you can go ahead and set a static height. And let's see what the height of this image is. And that way it so it's 75 pixels in height. So let's give it a restriction of 75 pixels in height. And now refresh. So you see that our image is now gone. However, we'll go ahead and upload an image using the image uploader. And here's the logo. And there we are. Let's save all changes. Options updated. And now when we refresh, we have that logo here. Next, let's change this favicon. So we're going to add a upload favicon section right below the upload your logo. Going back under theme-options.php, go ahead and hit the drop down and pop in the favicon. So there we are. Save that. Oh, and then also we may as well go ahead and pop in the Google Analytics. Okay. All right, I'll save that. Let's take a look. Refresh. So now, and I'll just show, if we take a look at the footer, you see down here by the footer there's no analytics tracking code. However, and I'll just put this down here, Okay. And for the favicon, I'll just upload the logo. And when I save, refresh, you notice how the favicon is now here. And then also, when I view source, the analytics tracking code right here. So you see that now this this admin bar popped in below it. However, you see it still went towards the footer of the theme. It's still below the content. And that's normally where you'll want your analytics tracking code to go. So next, let's take care of the contact information. So it looks like we're going to need a street, a city, state, zip code, and phone number. So we'll create a new heading, and we'll call this one contact. Well, actually, let's be general. And this one's going to be contact. And we're going to need a text area, a text field for the, so we need one for street address, city, state, zip code, phone number. Okay. This one should be address. And we gotta update this ID. Address city. And actually, I'm going to move this phone number field to the top. There we are. Save that. Now, let's take a look. Refresh. And now under contact options, you see all of these values. So I'll just put some default information in. And actually, if you want it, each one of these areas that says STD, this is the standard value. And you can update that. So if you want it, you can say and it seems that we've got an extra text field. Zip, state, city, address, phone. Save that. So now when we refresh and go to contact options, you see that those standard values have updated. And let's click Save All Changes to pass that data to the database. And now let's open up our header.php and make these information areas dynamic. Header.php. So here is our city. I'll get rid of that. City. No, this is address. Excuse me. In fact, all of this is part of the address. And then here is the city. The state. The zip code. And finally, the phone number. I will go ahead and save this. And take a look. So now it should be updated with our default data. Here we go. So you see that that information has been updated with the information from the theme options panel. Now let's do the same thing with our copyright down here in the footer. So the for the copyright, come under theme options, and I'm going to make another options panel for footer. And let's use the text area. Okay, this is multiple line. This will allow for them to add more than one line if they want. And I'll save this, and then in the footer we'll go ahead and replace this. Now there's a couple of different ways we can do this. First of all, what I suggest is that we use the blog's name, and then also and then update this part with the options value. So now when we refresh, here in our footer, you see the title of this site, which is "This is a test site, copyright 2011." And now let's refresh our options panel. We now have footer options, and let's just say and save the options, refresh, and you see that extra information added there. Another thing is that you could add some HTML here. So let's say I wanted to break, and then okay, and when we refresh this, so you see that information added down here accordingly, and you see that HTML is actually executed. So you can execute HTML through a text area. Okay. Next, let's move on to the menu. Well, actually, before that, let's finish off with the theme options panel. So next, let's set a category to pull a featured or a greeting. Let's call this the greeting area. Inside of WordPress, we're going to create a new category, and we're going to name it greeting. Let's just save it, and I'm going to open up a new tab and get some Laura Isbum. Laura Isbum is used for dummy text. You may have seen it before, but I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of paragraphs of Laura Isbum, and I'm going to add a new post, and let's name it use the visual. I'll just paste this in here. We're going to put this in the category for greetings, and let's publish. Okay, so now Actually, I'm going to make this let's update that. Okay, let's open up our index.php file. And we'll find that here it is right here. So it's this intro block. I'm just going to take this out of here and open up a new PHP document just so that we can have some room to edit it by itself. And so now the way that they're doing this, there's a highlight. Now we can actually use custom fields to make this work better so that you have the underline under here. But custom fields isn't introduced until section C. So in section C, we'll come back and we will make this title have an underline section of the title. So for right now, we're going to hit the drop down, and for this particular functionality, what we want to do is pull the most recent post from a given category. Okay, and the category is going to be the greetings category. And so we'll go ahead and under our snippets, under getting content, and then we've got this one, the get posts from category block. So I'll go ahead and pop this in. Now there's going to be two parts of this. We're going to have to add the theme options, of course. So we're going to add another options panel. This is the options for heading. And this is the contact options. I'm just going to collapse these blocks so they don't get in my way. Just makes things a little easier to see. So right here below the general options heading, I'm going to go ahead and create another options heading for home page, or let's say content options. Okay. And under here, we're going to select, we're going to provide an options to select a category for usage. So we're using the select category option under the theme options.php folder. And this is going to allow the person to hit the drop down and select an available category. So we'll just change this name, select the category options. I'll just name this option as greeting. Now in our index.php file, well, excuse me, Over here, we're going to change this to greetings. And the number of posts that we want to display there is going to be 1. And we'll take this right here and put it right here where it says add your content here. Let's change this. So let's tell you what, let's keep all of it, since we're going to come back and use the custom keys to separate the underline and the black. Let's just keep it all under bold. And we're going to come under general functionality. And so we'll just pop in the title of the post here. So under general functionality, get post / page title, pop that in. And here, where we've got this paragraph text, this is actually the excerpt. And I'm going to keep this my resume. But I'm going to get rid of this. And also this. And we can add this part to the excerpt. But that's for C also. So just a moment. We're going to pop in the excerpt code. So here under getting content, we'll go ahead and pop in the get the excerpt. Let's space it, and then in section C, we'll go ahead and update this to have a dynamic URL for the resume. That's going to be based on a custom key for download. So now that we've got all of that, let's copy our code. Come back over to index.php. Let's paste it in here. Save. So now, when we refresh, so now you see that this is the it's showing the most recent post. However, when we now come under our theme options and under our content options, we hit this drop down, select a category. Let's select uncategorized, for example. And now we refresh, and you see it's hello world. So to drop down and select greetings, refresh. So now we've got the home greeting. Next, let's do the same thing for the featured work area. Now for here, we're going to allow for the selection of the category to display right here, but we're also going to allow for the titling here. So I'm going to go ahead and for our initial setup, I'm going to create a category named featured work. And then let's create a couple of posts for featured work. And we'll put it under featured work. to finally featured work. Okay, so now we'll come into our index.php file and find all of our featured work. So we see here that they've actually got they're using 3 images on top, a clear, 3 titles below, a clear, and then 3 more below. So we're actually, this is a prime example of needing to restructure the HTML, the markup sometimes, so that it allows for dynamic content. Because what we actually want to happen is that there will be a loop that will output the 3 most recent posts from the set category. Well, we're going to want to get that post's featured image, that post's title, and then a custom key value from that post 3 times and show here in this grid. So we're going to have to make some adjustments to the HTML CSS structure here. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to copy this entire block right here, and I'm just going to come over to our little blank sheet, pop it in there. Okay, now let's take a look at what we've got here. So the goal, once again, is to have the featured image appear on top, and the image, let's open this image up in the new tab, and the image needs to be 300 by 146. Then below that we need the title of the post, and it needs to link to the full post. And then we're going to use custom fields to display the category. And so let's go ahead and break this apart. Unfortunately, the the creators of this theme made 3 separate blocks. As you can see, one has the image, one has the title, and one has the description. Okay, so how about if we begin by recreating like this? And we can just take each one of these. See, each one of these go with each. So here is the image, the title, and then the category. And instead of each one of these being list items, we'll get rid of those list items. Okay. Now, featured work is actually the title. That's the title right here. So it's not actually part of this. These 3 need to encapsulate I'll name it featured blocks. Okay. Now we're going to need to add styling for featured blocks. So down here at the bottom of our style sheet, for one thing, we're going to make them float left. Okay. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is make this block right here loop out using a get categories from theme options. So we'll use the get post from category, pop that in. Let's take our block right here and add our content. Now we'll update this. It's going to be and we want to display 3. Okay, let's go ahead and loop this out. We'll replace this one. Save it to the server. So let's take a look. And we just want to see what kind of progress has been made in that area. Okay, so you see that they're all left aligned. I mean, they're all going straight down. They're not justified the way that we wanted them to be. And that's what we're going to fix next. So as you can see, there's one loop, and it's going to loop this one area out 3 times. So the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that class featured blocks, let's take a look here and see. Okay, so first thing we're going to have to do is break these. So we're going to need to break after each. And what I'm going to do is as you can see, I'm applying a little bit of HTML to kind of style those blocks a little bit. And what we're going to do is apply styling to each one of these. Let me see, that image is 300 by 146. And then so for this one, I'm just going to apply a clear both. For these, I'm actually going to apply the required styling for these areas, but for both of them I'm going to put a clear both for right now, just to kind of get things set up a bit and then make my modifications from there. Once you learn how all of this works, you will develop your own little habits for the order that you work in. But what you're seeing here are mine, and they work for me and help me get things done quickly. And so what I normally like to do is just kind of get everything set up first and then go back and perfect it. So let's check and see what we've got now. Hopefully all of these are in there we are. So we've got everything in alignment now. Now we need to clear and break below. Let's take a look. Okay, so now that's broken down. So now we need to make some other adjustments, and we also need to get this other styling together. So let's take a look over here at our original. You see that so this one right here is using class title, and for class title, okay, so we're going to want to get that padding right there. And what I'm going to do is here inside of style.css, let's come under feet title. And put this, save. And let's take a look now. Okay, so now it's got the padding. Next we need Let's take this. Refresh. Oh, wait 1 second. I know. Okay, so now we have the proper coloring. Now we need the correct size. Let's find all instances of title inside of the style sheet so that we can see exactly what's going on here. It's not in there. So it's actually coming from one of the other style sheets. So we'll search inside of CSS for title. And here we are, index.css. Let's open that up. So here's that font style normal. Here's all of that. What's next on here? Okay. Well, instead, we'll just go ahead and control it using let's just see what that does. Okay, it's too small. Let's make it 16. It's a little larger. Let's just take all of this, and this will be for the featured category, feet cat. Save that. Let's take a look. There we are. Okay, now we need a little bit of padding between them. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. So first of all, we've got this. This is for the featured image. Let's take a look. Actually, it's under home feed. Oh, it's wait. Actually, let's do it under the featured blocks. It's supposed to be in this one because this is the one that's looping out. So let's take a look now. We should be okay. Yeah, there we are. And now we just need to make sure that our area okay, so let's make it 11 for now. Style.css line 231. So right here, let's make this 11. Refresh. So here we are. We've gotten a lot closer. So, as you can see, when you start to make your theme dynamic, you're going to run into a couple of styling issues that you have to come back and kind of tweak. And I've actually got that stage saved for the last stage. As I mentioned at the beginning, the first thing that I like to do is kind of get everything set up first, then come back in and make any adjustments. So now that we've got this positioned properly, let's go ahead and make it dynamic content. In order to do so, we have to move on to the next step, which is using the featured image. So right now, if we take a look at our post, you can see that there is no option for featured images. It doesn't exist yet, and the reason is because we have to actually trigger it inside of our themes functions.php file. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll open up the functions.php. Didn't mean to open up the footer. Here we are. Okay, and we're just going to, right here after the options framework, we're going to go ahead and use under section B, featured images, and let's use the initialize featured images. Let me pop that in. Now, the first thing, as you can see, we've got the set size. So let's get this, the width of this particular image, 300 by 146. So we'll do 300 by 146. The first number is always the width. The second number is always the height. One thing that I want you to please keep in mind is that WordPress will not allow for your images to stretch or skew. So it's going to be automatically resized proportionally to fit inside of that area without breaking your layout. So what you're going to want to do in order to make sure that your images fit in there properly, you're going to want to make sure that you cut them out using Photoshop, you crop them into the exact size. You resize them and crop accordingly. That way you control how it appears. So now that we've popped in that functions.php part, when we come over here and we refresh, you'll notice that now we've got this featured image option. Once again, that is not going to show until you've added the initializer inside of your functions.php file. So we'll go ahead and select the featured image. And I'll just pop one in here. Okay, so let's use this one. So once you upload that, you'll click the Use as Featured Image link. And you can close it out. You'll see that image appear. We'll go ahead and update. Now, before we're actually able to see our changes, the next thing that we're going to have to do is populate the. We're going to have to pop in the function to display the featured image, and then we're also going to have to add the options panel. The option into the options panel so that the admin can select what category. So going back inside of index.php, the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this image right here, this image tag. We don't need it. And we're going to use the function for display featured image. Let's pop that in there. So we're going to name for this particular featured image, it's going to be the default size. So we can remove the location name, all of that. I can remove all of this. Okay. So now when we refresh, so you see one post has a featured image, the other two do not. Reason being is because I've only applied the featured image to one post, and we're going to apply it to these other two here in a moment. But the next thing that I want to do is go ahead and add in the theme options for this. So we're going to refer to this as the featured work section. So under theme options, we'll look under content options, and let's add it there. Here's the content options heading. And so we'll go ahead and we want to select category option. Okay, and I'll just rename this to featured. Actually, what did I name it here? Featured work. Okay, so we save that. Now let's refresh our options panel. Come under content options, and here we have select a category for the featured work area on the home page. Hit the drop down and select our featured work category. Save all changes. Refresh. And now these are the ones that are actually there. Now we're going to make some updates here. For example, right here, we want to make sure that when a person clicks on this title, they're actually taken to the full display of that post. That URL to that full display of the post is referred to as a permalink. So we're going to use our permalink for there. So under general functionality, get permalink. And then here we want to display the post title. So we'll get rid of that and we'll display get post title right here. So now when we save and refresh, so you see work 3, work 2, work 1. And just to confirm this is working properly, I'll switch this to using the uncategorized category. Refresh. And you see we've only got one post showing and it does not have a featured image. So it is working fine. Refresh. Okay. So now let's go ahead and apply a featured image to each one of these posts. Oh, and then actually if you click this, you'll be taken to the full page, but we haven't created the single .php file yet, so it's not going to show that content yet. Under our posts, go to all posts, and we need to update for work 2 and work 1. So here's work 2. I'll just pop something in here. And finally, let's do work 1. So now when we refresh, we see all of those images here. Okay. Next, let's move on to the single display. So we're going to create the internal page structure for pages and single posts and categories. So now let's take a look at our original layout again and take a look at the About page. The About page is the layout that we're going to use for our internal pages and posts for single pages and single posts general. And then for portfolio, we're actually going to make a custom template. So we'll do this one in section C. And let's see, for contact, we'll make a custom template page for contact, and we'll make a custom post type portfolio. But we're going to use the structure for the About page for the layout on the single posts and single pages. So we'll go ahead and open it up. Here's about.html. Once again, this is the HTML file that came with the theme we downloaded. And we can just come in here and let's just grab this content area right here and collapse it. And we see that there's a gray separator above and a gray separator below. And I believe that that's the same gray separator above and below here. So if we take a look at our index.php file, we see that there is the same gray separator. And we have the begin and end featured work. But we've got the same gray separator right here. And up here at the top, we've got an intro. But in the header, so gray separator is the last one for the header. And for the footer, let's begin footer. Let's see. So begin footer. So we're going to take from right here all the way to right here. Index.php ends with this gray separator. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and take this gray separator and put it in the footer. Let's start by doing that. That way we don't have to include it on the single pages or posts or anything. So we'll just pop this up here at the top. Now we've got our gray separator. Now the only thing that we have to do is delete. First of all, we're going to take this index.php file and we're going to save it as single.php. Okay. Now all of this can go. And we're just going to pop in our about code. And I'll just close this out. We don't need it anymore. Pop that in there. Save it. So now watch what happens when we click one of our posts. Now we see the full display. There needs to be an image here, and then also this styling got thrown off a little bit. For some reason, it's not using the same. First of all, let's update this image. Let's just go ahead and start filling this back out. So we'll use our URL for themes root directory. Save. And let's refresh. Okay. Seems as though a style sheet is missing. About.css is missing. Okay, that's what it is. One thing we're going to have to do, actually let's go ahead and load in the about style sheet. So now when we refresh it, you see a totally different layout. So we was definitely missing that. And actually it looks like we've got double bars down here for some reason. Let's upload this. Single.php, we don't need this gray separator. Okay. So when we refresh now, that'll go away. Let's make this image right here featured. That way the admin doesn't have to worry about trying to style for it. We're going to make it a an additional image size. So we'll come under our functions.php and let's drop down the line and add an additional size. So you just come under, look under featured image, add additional image sizes. Okay, and we're going to call this well, let's call it inside. And then the dimensions are 351 by 349. Let's save that. We'll copy our name, come under our single.php file. Let's get rid of this image, and then use the display featured image and rename this part right here properly. So there's inside, and save. Now, when we refresh, you see this featured image shows there. The next thing, let's make this content area dynamic. So we'll get rid of all this. And let's just pop in the content area, the code for the content area, internal content, and then we're going to use for single.php content area. The single.php content area also contains the comments template. And then another thing is that let's keep this. Actually, let's that way we still have that. So now when we refresh, you see the content area, you see the featured image, you see the text. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is go ahead and make this navigation menu up here dynamic. So we're going to come on over to our header.php file, and let's find where that navigation is being generated. Here it is. And notice that the navigation is using an unordered list, and each nav element are using list items. And also notice that the active link is highlighted darker than the others. So we're going to want to keep, we're going to use that same class, but we're going to do that in section C also. For now, I'm just going to collapse these, and we're going to keep in between the navigation class, and I'm just going to comment those out so that they go away. And now there's a two-step process to activating your dynamic menus. The first part is going to go inside of functions.php. And here we are right here, the dynamic menu, and the menu functions.php code. I'll just pop that in there. And you'll notice that you have 3 separate menus that are coming inside of this snippet. One is for the primary menu, the secondary menu, and the footer menu. You don't have to use all 3 of these. You know, in fact, you can get rid of the ones you don't want, and you can add more if you need more. And for this one, we're going to keep it named primary menu, and the words primary menu are what we're going to use to associate the created menu with that particular area in the theme. So let's go ahead and save this so it uploads. And now inside of header.php, we're going to go ahead and use the primary menu, and we'll use the show a menu. And primary menu is already selected. This is going to automatically output the unordered list, and the so that each element is used as a list item. Now when we take a look, you see we've got one page right here, sample page. And we come inside of our appearance. Now right here under appearance, you see that there is no menus link. However, after we refresh, now under appearance, we have the menus link. And go ahead and click that. And we're going to name the menu primary menu. And then click the create menu link. After you do that, you'll notice that there's a theme locations area that comes available. And you'll have to hit the drop down and select to associate primary menu with that particular element. If you create more of these in your functions.php, if you create more menus, then you'll have more of them available here to select from as you create more menus using the add menu area. So after you associate, you'll need to save, and then we can begin to add elements to the menu. So here's the pages. We'll go ahead and add the home page. Click Save Menu. And then we'll add the other pages. So we need to create a page for portfolio, we need to create a page for about, and a page for contact. So we can go ahead and use, let's see, the about page. We're going to use this as a custom field. So let's go ahead and add a new page. Actually, we can just edit this existing one. Let's call it about. And under the featured image, and let's just and here it is. So we'll go ahead and use this one as the featured image. You can see that image will show there. Click Update. Now let's come back under our menu and add this About page to the menu. So under Pages, we just select About, add it on there, and Save Menu. And we refresh. We now have Home and About. So now, in order to see a page, you're going to have a page.php file. So for example, if I click this About page, you see that it doesn't actually load the content. So we need to create a page.php file, but this page is going to be quite similar to the single.php file that we created. The only thing that's going to be different pretty much is the comments section. Normally, people do not allow you to comment on their WordPress pages. So for example, you don't want someone commenting on your About Us page or Contact Us page. So I'm just going to save single.php as a new file. And I'll save it as page.php. And let's go ahead and save that to the root directory of the themes root directory. Here we are. And what you can actually do is, let's see, this is the description. So we can get rid from here to here. And then you can simply pop in your content, internal content, and then your page.php content area. Let's save that. So now when we refresh this same page, you see it shows the About Us. Now the thing is right, and actually this image here is not dynamic yet. Actually, yes. So yeah, we have the post thumbnail right here. So that's showing right there exactly how it should. Now we can go back and forth. So now we can go ahead and create a so we need a contact page. Now for the contact page, you notice that they've got the phone number and the email address here. We can pull that information dynamically. That way we don't have to worry about the admin having to, style so that this stays in the same formatting. We can pull from the theme options panel. And down below that, we're going to have the content. So we're going to create a custom page template for this, and we're going to simply save page.php. We can save it as contact template.php. Okay. Now up here at the top, we're going to need to add a PHP comment. So looking under internal content, find the custom page templates directory and pop in that create custom template page snippet, and replace your custom template text with what you want that template to be named. So we'll name this one contact page. And basically we're going to take everything between begin about content all the way to end about content. So we'll take all of this right here, get rid of it, and we're going to open up that contact page HTML file so that we can get that body structure. And we just want this content area right here. Pop that between the header and the footer. And as for we're going to replace these text areas, and we're going to use this area right here as the content area, as for getting the content. Let's collapse that, get rid of that, and we can just use the page.php content area and get rid of the title. We don't need that here, but keep everything else the same. And I'm going to go ahead and save this just to make sure that everything activates properly. Then we'll go ahead and make the the telephone number and the email address dynamic from the theme options panel. So here inside of our contact page, I'll go ahead and refresh. And you'll notice that now we have the template option. I hit the drop down and select the contact page, and then let's there's the Laura Isbum, assign the template, publish. So now we need to go under appearance and go to menus and add the contact page to our menu, and here it is. Okay, let's refresh. And here's our contact page. Okay, so as you can see, there's some custom styling that's coming with this page. Let's look under our contact HTML file. Let's see what's up here. We need to add this extra style sheet to the header. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so here we are. Looks much better now. So the next thing is we're going to, first of all, under theme options, we're going to get the phone number and the email address. There are contact options. So we have the phone number, but we have not created a field for the email address. So we need to first get this number. And we can just copy it from here. Go to our contact template, and let's just replace this phone number. And when we refresh, that should update with our 800 number. Here we are. Now, under our theme options, we need to add an extra area to contact for the email address. And let's put it up at the top. So under our snippets, once again, we'll go under options panel and theme options.php, and we're going to make it a text field, a single line text field. And let's just name this field email. Let's just put a default email address. Save that to the server. Refresh. And now you see that area here. Save all changes. For the contact template, we can simply use this one over again. And we can replace this, the mail to keep the same functionality. Replace phone with email. and do the same thing here. We've got this broken up quite a bit. So here on this in this highlight span, we're going to add our email to output that. So now so that way we output the text version and then also the link version, the mail to. And when we refresh, here we are. And if you click it, it'll open up your mail client. That's the functionality for the mail to link. So that page is now complete. And just so that you know, you can create any page now. So for example, we can create and let's just keep the default template and publish it and view the page. And so as you can see, we've got, if you create just the simple page itself, you know, you can it'll display any page dynamically now. All pages will display using the page.php template. All posts will display using the single.php templates and have the functionality for commenting at the bottom of the post.